welcome to the Flory Models live show. Here we are with you on the 7th of the 9th, as in September 2023, on this very, very hot and sticky evening. Are we all warm, everyone?
Very.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's in the hottest temperatures? Matt's not. Matt's fine.
25 I am at the moment.
Oh, yeah? I haven't got my thing on in here today, but
that's what it says on my computer.
Yeah, we're saying it's 23, yeah. So,
no idea.
Yes. Nice.
It's not.
Very, very hot. How's your lounge wall doing there, John?
It's nice and cosy in here.
Yes.
Like everyone else, yeah, we've had the cars are covered with sand.
Yeah,
Yes.
mine like that. What's weird is it's not really rained. The car's covered in sand.
But we dodged that this time.
Yeah.
I got it a couple of weeks ago, but it dodged it this time.
It's all that Saharan sand making its way up. It does make for a night. Like now, I can see it a little bit now. It's very orangey out there already as the sun's starting to go down.
We'll get a good sunset then.
Is it?
Well, it is here. It's a bit orangey out there. So we've had quite a bit of cloud today. To be honest, it's been really, really cloudy, but everything has been still cooked nicely, you know. But this afternoon, the sun did break out and was proper warm. So it's proper Indian summer.
They're saying that Mark Massey says you're muffled.
I am.
Yeah, you sound fine to us, but it's a different mic, isn't it?
Am I muffled, everyone? Do I sound slightly muffled?
Yeah, it sounds like feels a long way away.
Hold on, I'm on.
They're on the quiet side.
Am I on the wrong mic? Hold on. Let me just check. Hold on. If I'm not on that mic, which mic am I on? Hold on, mic again. Not that one.
Mic check.
One. Oh, hold on. I'm on the webcam mic.
That's right.
Sorry, hold on.
I love the professional way you tested all that. Bang, bang.
Yeah,
We will get it right one day.
One day.
Yeah. Hold on, one day. But my point is, how comes it keeps changing?
It's because we're new to it and we don't do it very often.
Like we've done it for the first time tonight.
No. It's not that one. Hold on. We've got a small problem here. So it's not doing it off of this, is it?
No.
No.
I say what we hear isn't what everyone else hears, though, is it? So.
No, we get the sound through Skype, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are slightly on a different one to here. Right, hold on 1 second. So if it's not
Tony says it's worse.
Hold on. It can't be this because it's not feeding anywhere in. Hold on. It says desperately trying to sort this. Talk amongst yourself, guys, just for a second.
Now we're just going to see you struggle.
Yeah, it's a spectator sport then.
Right, hold on. Let me just try something else. Hold on.
Okay, we're going for it.
Go on.
We are definitely going for it. Can't you just hold one in front of your face like a game show host?
I can do, but we'll just see if we can get this to work. Right, hold on, try that.
Is that better?
No, still not on, is it? Hold on, let me just bring up the backup. Let me bring the backup into play. Hold on. Right, should. That one is on. Right, hold on, I just need to fire this around. Hold on, 1 second. Come on. See, never do this when you're live because it's very, very laggy. Settings.
Anyway, it's been an enjoyable show, and we'll all see you next week. If we survive Saturday.
Hold on. Can't see anything through my glasses because they're all still
That's it, glasses.
audio.
Glasses are on, he means business.
Okay.
Can you actually hear any of us, or is it just Phil you can't hear? Can you hear everybody else?
I don't know.
Okay, test 1 2. No, what's wrong with my primary microphone's not working?
Oh
Right.
no.
Okay. I am
We're-
desperately trying to troubleshoot this, everyone. Just
We'll have to act like translators and say what Phil's saying if they can hear us.
Who said
Yeah,
that Phil's
all
off?
right,
I bet you- I
Blimey,
bet
that's
you
really
regret
laggy, that is. But no, it is just Phil.
Right, hold on. I'm trying, kids. I'm
Whoever
trying.
said it should have kept quiet, and then we wouldn't be.
All right, hold on. There's got to be something to this. I just need to troubleshoot why this microphone is working on
Not working.
everywhere but with there. Okay. Right.
Subtitles. We can't type fast enough for subtitles. Sorry.
Yeah. Right, you guys all talk and take over. I'm going to disappear and just reset the sound system. And
Okay.
I'll
All right.
be back.
That's a bit of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you can
Yeah.
take over the show. I'll be here doing this. Go.
Okay, you're going to troubleshoot. So cool. Go on then, don't all talk at once.
I was gonna say,
That's thrown them. You've proper thrown them now. Look, they know what to say.
Right. I've actually got some work done on the Stuka. Look.
Go on then.
You know,
Yes,
other
show us
camel.
your Stuka.
Where is he? There he goes. Right.
So it's coming together a bit now, as you can see. So I've done a bit of scratch building because there's just a hole underneath where the bomb goes on the other versions. So I've done a bit of scratch building there to fill that. It's sort of like what it should be. It's just a vague representation. What other issues have I had on it?
Do you have the bomb rack bits on then?
No, the G doesn't have it, but there's just like a removable cover that goes over it.
All right.
The landing light was just a blank hole, so I've scratch built a little a light to go in there and blocked it off.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me in chat, just shout that. See if that works. Sorry, carry on, John.
I'll keep an eye out. Well,
I couldn't help myself. Hang on, let's see if I can get one of these off.
What kit is it, John?
Ooh,
It's the Hazard Gower kit, the 148 G.
the best.
So I don't
Dude,
think you see, I've done a bit of
that's brilliant.
Okay, we're back. Right, fair
bit of
enough.
scratch building. All the pipe work is missing from the kit, or they haven't bothered,
Yeah.
putting it on there. So a bit of copper wire.
Can you tell Lynn to stop watching
Has,
Netflix?
seems that.
Yeah, because you've got very.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
got
it's
proper
a bit-
8-bit.
it's not normally that bad. And I've just replaced the barrels with some master barrels. So yeah, it's coming along now, nearly ready for primer.
Master barrels make a big
So
difference.
that's what I've been up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, master
I was
Yeah,
going to
can't
build
go wrong.
this box, but like you do, you just get carried away doing bits and bobs.
Hmm.
But it's a nice kit. There are fit issues on it, but nothing that a bit of test fitting and the sanding stick don't sort out.
Cool.
Cool. Very good. Right, there we go. Sound fixed. No problem. Right, okay. Who wants to go next? On show and tell corner.
Nathan can
And-
go.
Oh.
Nathan. Right, hold on, I've got to find Nathan. Where's Nathan? Nathan, you're up.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Let me switch off. I've done a few things this week as well. I've been working on one of these. So this
Very nice.
this
It's
was
a
like
matador.
it is. It was one of those like doing it on
Well.
Saturday shows, and I think I put it in a box for safekeeping and lost the box, but I found it. So I've managed to finish the decals, and I'm
It's
been
not a
working
matador,
on.
is it? That's the Indian one. What do the Indians call them?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because they don't fly them anymore, do they? They've been discontinued, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they
About
have
a
recent.
few years ago now. But
Yeah, they've gone. But so my main build has been I've done the grey on the Colombian Sabre, and I've done the well, the first layer of silver's on for the.
Mm-hmm.
This is the American Sabres, the one with the sort of lizard hoof thing on the side.
Right.
And getting ready for a future build. Oh, these have arrived.
Oh, look. They're your wheels. You're replacing
my
wheels. Are
sort
they
of-
the same ones I had? You get 4 in one flat one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are lovely.
Mm.
It says don't eat them though. I don't know, be tempted to, you know. But
Well, that's why mine went flat. I was chewing on it.
yeah, and I've had a good day today. The post arrived after a couple of weeks. But, you know, a book. Look at that.
Ooh.
If I turn to one particular page.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that's all right. Once you've
Look
seen
at it.
one, you've seen them all.
Look at that. Yours truly
He's got
in
his,
the back.
his name in print, look.
So I have finally arrived.
Yes.
Make me a professional model maker. It doesn't really get paid for it, but it's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
Walk around section, all the Italian tornado stuff. So that arrived today. If anyone wants
Very
one,
nice.
drop me a PM because they're being sold through the Tornado SIG. They've been imported specially. So yeah, I've had quite a good week.
Very nice.
Finally
Excellent.
managed to. That was the. We'll talk about this later. We'll come back to that topic, won't we?
Yeah.
But this thing. Oh, jeez, man. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Fair enough. Cool. Very, very nice indeed. Right. Okay. Andy, what's wrong with your airbrush?
Oh, I've put in acrylics down it, and I don't like acrylics anymore. I decided
Okay.
I don't like acrylics anymore. So yeah, I'm then trying to put lacquers through it again. No matter what I did with it, it was killing them off. So decided against it. So yeah, I'm carrying on with this. Put the exhaust on the other night, which was a proper pain in the backside to get the exhaust on where I went. Because I put the engine on, trying to get these bits in, and of course I have to use my left hand to do this side. It was just a nightmare trying to get them on, to get them all to lined up properly. So yeah, if anyone's doing one, make sure you put the exhaust on before you put the engine on onto the airframe, because it was a nightmare. So yeah, just a bit of weathering on it, a bit of final detailing, and then I'm going to call it done.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you got the other cannon? Got a cannon missing there?
Yeah. I just need to. I've not got it on yet. I need to just I put when I did the post shading. I use a light colour. I put too much of the light colour on the cannon. It's a bit light, so it's just here ready to masked up, ready to just put some of the darker colour back on it.
Fair enough.
Well, that's what I was about to do, but then I realised me airbrush I want to use is gummed up with acrylics,
Yeah,
and I tried to
see.
clean it out with some lacquer thinners.
Fair enough.
So I just stripped it down.
Mm.
Job done. So yeah, so it'll be finished in 6 weeks' time.
Just in time for Christmas. Very nice. Right, where's Matt? I've lost him. There he is. He's over there now. Oh, look, Matt's back to World War One land.
I have dug it back out for one night only, which was Tuesday night.
Okay.
While we were on, because obviously I've been away and so I haven't done much at all. But plan is to try and get this thing done for Telford somehow.
Yes.
It's all painted. I've just painted the radiator. I've got a bit of touching up to do, but just airbrushed that earlier on. Got the wings on, pinned them. Used my trusty selection of Albion Alloy stuff here. Brass tubing,
Yeah.
which is different sizes, which is nice. So they're nice and sturdy now. Where obviously the original connection points are very sparse.
Oh, that's
And also, I'm
strange.
going to try. I know Andy's building a similar kit.
Yeah.
The undercarriage as well is yeah.
Do you know on mine, Matt?
Yeah.
Thing's one piece, and it fits on the underside of the.
Yeah. This is obviously this is the earlier one, isn't it? And this has just got two little sort of you can't even call it really positive connections. They're
Right. You thought they'd have just done it the same way, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no. I think your way is obviously a lot better because you can get a straight ring, but I have just drilled it and then put a bit of rod in and obviously pinned them in that way. I mean, Nathan's a bit more of an expert at these than I'll ever be, but that is the undercarriage. legs. And honestly, there's just no meat on it there to hold it. There is supposed to be some some little holes. I've drilled some out. Obviously, they're in there, and it's kind of
Is it thick enough to get a pin into the strap?
That's the problem. I mean, that is the. I don't think you can see it
probably
on
not.
camera. There ain't a lot there to pin.
Yeah.
Super glue's your friend.
It's going to have to be. It's just going to be really, really flimsy. And obviously, the wheels, wherever they are, painted them. Isn't it? That just sort of drops in there on top. So you've got to get them lined up as like so.
This
and
is
try
like
and get them as level as you can before you commit. But they are going on last when it's all sort of painted and weathered, rigged, top wings on. They are going on last because that, like I say, they are really, really flimsy. I've based up as well the propeller because that obviously needs wood grain, which I'll be doing with oils. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get this thing done. But obviously, we have got how many weeks to Telford? Did we work out?
8 or 9.
8 or 9
weeks.
So obviously the 190 is pretty much done apart from an aerial, which is fine. So I'm thinking, right, what have we not got on the Luftwaffe SIG?
That a bit.
So I've dug this out. The old Revell.
Can I ask one
110.
question?
What?
One question. How are you getting them to Telford? And more importantly, how are you getting them from Telford?
And that ain't my problem. That's Nathan's problem.
Oh, dear. Tell you what,
They'll be travelling in the official vehicle, Luftwaffe vehicle.
Like I said to him, he needs to hire a van because he's inherited these. And what
Or
I
a
have got
Kubel
is
wagon.
there's a mass set up, which is actually for the Revell kit, not the Dragon kit. And I've got a 3D printed cockpit set, which is actually for the Dragon kit, but I'm going to see if I can use some of it in this one, because I presume, I've not even opened this, I don't know even what this is like inside.
let's have a
So if
live
you want to unbox it while we're on,
Yeah,
I
go on and have a...
deal with.
I had that kit when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
And
I
it
hope
was
you haven't
crap
got high
then.
expectations.
I don't even know
Yeah,
where this
brace
paint's
yourself
from.
for disappointment.
Oh yeah, I can't even get in the box. I'm not expecting a lot from it, if I'm honest.
Have you got new decals for it?
This was actually cellophane. Hey, look, you got an engine.
There you go.
Is it raised or Rita?
I don't know how accurate it is. That's not that bad. It's raised, but that don't bother me anymore. Yeah, I'll let you get a couple of dudes.
Big and 48, isn't it?
Quick, somebody scale mate it. Clear parts, which are actually not too bad. Actually, this don't look as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Not need a math set for that then.
But I can get aftermarket decals if I need them. So
I was going to say, looking at the bags, it doesn't look like it's an old kit. Because it's got like the warnings on the bags. If it's back in the 80s, you were allowed to smother children with no problem.
yeah, but I think the kit's a bit old. Let me look at the box. At least it's a proper box.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's...
decals. Yeah, a
Your
lot of
decals will
are-
probably be alright. Yeah?
I don't think they're that
I'll
bad.
be alright with that.
No? You're
They're a
alright.
bit dirty because of the covering, but I think they'll
Some of it. That's
they
also
will work.
newer boxing into it.
Nice early 110 as well, isn't it?
Cockpit's a bit sparse, shall we say?
There you go. 65 days till Telford.
And we're going on the Saturday.
Yeah, we'll only be there on the Saturday. One day only. We haven't got a stand. We're not selling anything or anything else like that. We're just going to be normal visitors walking round.
We've got
It's
a
that old look.
I like
Hey,
how
look.
It's got
Staples.
rusty staples. Yeah.
Rusty staples.
we've all got lunch dates on Sunday with each other.
Yes, basically.
Candlelit lunch. So I could do July 1940 or July 1940. So there we go.
That's when they still thought it was a fighter.
Yeah.
So we have potentially a Battle of Britain
Yeah, it is one.
109 come in. So we'll see how that one pans out. But yeah,
Yeah.
should be exciting. So
Very nice.
that'll keep me busy for a bit. And that's about it.
So with that, your 190, that'll be the table full.
And the big Yoo-hoo, he's coming.
Oh, crikey.
And I might bring the storch.
For everything which is dodgy.
So you're going to have to pop back on the Sunday evening to pick all these things up, I think. I wonder if I can persuade Ange to have the Fiat for the weekend.
I think you might have to. You're going to need the Kia, mate.
I am, aren't I?
Yes. Just a couple here. David's just pointed out that this is the first time he's ever seen Andy finish a kit, and he's been a member for 4 years. Right? And then Paul said, David, he's not over the line yet. He's still got a lot going wrong.
Still time to not finish it.
I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, this is just slander, this is, I'll tell you.
This is it. Throw him under the bus, he's fine.
In my defence, in my defence, I've been very ill over the past couple of years. So.
Oh, is that what it is? That chestnut. Right, I've been very busy on the Harrier. As you can see, I know it looks somewhat like it's done, but we've been doing lots and lots more to this particular one. So, as you can probably see, today we've been in with oils. So we've been over the tops, we've been over the sides, we've been making our way through everywhere with this one. You can probably see we've got some chipping on here now, which we'll probably talk about later on in the show. So we've got some nice chippies, leading edge of the wings. We've got some down the intakes. It's actually a right pain in the ass to hold this thing. It will be when all the aerials are on it. But yeah, so we've got everything going on nice down in here, looking very much the part. So, and then underneath that we see we've got the nozzles in now. So the lovely nozzles. So we've got more blacky type ones at the front, a bit more metally. Some of them were painted, some weren't. So I've gone with the lines of these are sort of a bit of both. All in there. So it's ready for missiles, ready to go through. We've also done the seat, which I can show you because I painted that up yesterday, which is stuck in here on a bit of blue tack. White tack in my case. So we've got the seat done. So here's our nice seat.
Very nice.
Hey Andy, do you remember, Andy? This is the one you print out. Of all the ones I've done, this is yours that had the dodgy print on it.
Oh, that was the dodgy one, yeah.
I know, I didn't realise. I just grabbed one and it just happened to be yours because it's got the missile. I thought it didn't matter with mine because here. But yeah, so anyway, this is the 3D printed resin seat.
I did send you another one that was alright as well.
Yeah, I know. But all the ones I grabbed, it was this one to do it with. So I didn't realise until after. I came to paint the bottle and was like, oh, bugger.
Can't see it.
So, yes.
That looks amazing, that seat.
But yeah, no, seat's all right. Actually, it's come out really, really nice. So yeah, considering it was a quick fliz round on this one, you know, and all the rest of it. But once she's in position, as you can see, let me move her in. There we go. It needs a bit of a flat coat all on it yet and all the rest of it to knock it back a bit. Again, canopy. But yeah, it's all in there. Not that you can see all that lovely photo etch and everything we did inside the cockpit now, but hey, we know it's there somewhere. But yeah, no, it's all come out very, very nicely. So next up for this one, hopefully tomorrow I'll get a morning's work in this one. Obviously, as of tomorrow, things go a little bit busy. Has somebody got their bing bong on?
No.
Stick it that way.
Not me.
And I don't know. Is it me? Probably me.
Okay.
I'll turn it off. No, there you go. But yeah, so I hopefully will get it finished off because literally this just needs a little bit of flat coat onto it just to dull down a couple of areas. We've obviously got to put the sway braces on for the pylons and we can get the missiles installed then and all the bits and pieces like that. And then we've got all the final little bits and pieces going onto this, of which there's quite a lot. There's a lot of aerials and stabby bits and things on it as well, so we'll get all of those on and then hopefully she will be completed. So I might not rush it, I might finish it off on Monday as well, do another couple of hours on Monday to it. But yes, so there you go, that'd be your 1/24 scale Sea Harrier completed.
Which you said you'd build all over again.
I did. I was talking to Matt about it earlier and I said it's actually, I've thoroughly enjoyed this kit. It's not a problem. And again, it's one of those ones we often talk about. If you bite the bullet and just say, do you know what, I'm just going to sand off all the detail and do it again. It's not that bad, you know. It's one of those ones you just have to sort of, you know, methodically, wing by wing. We talked about this on Tuesday, I think it was. You know, take it in sections and break it down and just go methodically through it. And it's not too bad at all.
So if anyone's got a GR3 they don't want.
Well, let's just say I've got a GR3 that I could bring down tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. He's going to bring down a GR3. Look, bring alcohol. That's what you need to do.
Bring sunscreen.
Yeah, definitely bring sunscreen. To be honest, I know if it's here, I've moved it now. It's over in the other box, but I've still got the GR3 nose as well. So I thought about I could just build the front end of a GR3 now because you could do it as a standalone.
Yeah. Richard says, "Great Harry. Honestly, came out better than I expected." That's what Phil's thinking.
Ye of little faith. That's what that is, isn't it? You're all expecting it to be a complete nightmare and throw it against the wall and have a paddy with it, but actually, it's a fantastic kit. It's Very, very
I bet you've
nice.
still not worked out where you're putting it though.
No, because I can't hang it by its tail because they won't take
I've
the
got
weight.
an idea.
Hmm.
Give it Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan, could you take this to Telford for us?
Donate it to the Harrier, see.
To be honest, because I'm going to leave the pitot, to be honest, as that isn't fitted in. It is still a loose fit because of that very reason, because that's just going to get snapped off. And to be honest, a little bit earlier, I literally just replaced the end of it with a hollow brass pipe for the pitot. But with that off, it's not too bad. It's quite chunky. It's quite stable. It does sit on all its wheels. It's not rocking and teetering around. So yeah, you'll be all right. It'll be fine. Just put something underneath it on the Aiden pack, and it'll be fine.
Thing is, we're spoiled nowadays with the quality of kits that come out, innit? Those old kits, they if you spend a bit of time on them, they do build up quite nice, don't they?
I'll tell you.
Yes.
I'll tell you in a few weeks when I've tackled this old 110.
Yes, that's it.
You've just got to change your mindset with them, haven't you? And realise that you're not going to have all the super detailing you get in modern kits. And
That's true.
I'm past that now. To a stage, I think a bit of detail in the cockpits is enough if you can like get away with it. But I don't know. You've gone through that phase where I think like you come back into the hobby, so you start off quite simple, don't you, to get your feet under the table and all that. What me and Phil was talking about, and I think you can kind of run away with yourself a little bit, get a bit too ambitious.
Yeah.
I think and go, and we've all done it, and I bet we all still do it. When we look at a kit, we look what aftermarket you can get.
Yeah.
We all do it. So
yes.
And then when it comes down to it, you're thinking, well, I didn't really need to buy that, and I definitely don't need that. And there are certain essentials, especially for aircraft modelling. Mass set, like I always say, for the canopies nowadays, is a must in it because you really, really, really want to sit there cutting out mass for a canopy.
Yeah.
And with the 3D printing stuff as well, now it's coming along like leaps and bounds. That does add a lot to a cockpit. People say, it's cheating, but then they said that when the Edard used to do the zoom sets and all that came out. So to me, it's just a progression of the hobby. Well, use it. The technology's there. Use it to your advantage. You know what I mean?
They said that when plastic models came out.
They did, and they used to whittle them out of wood.
Yeah.
They used to do it out of wood. They said it was cheating and plastic models. So.
But again, I think sometimes there is a bit more satisfaction with tackling some of the older stuff. I've got a lot more into it because I was one of them that definitely would have dismissed them a good few years ago, the older kits, and wouldn't have been interested in them, to be honest, because I'm thinking, well, why do I want to tackle that when obviously there's a better version out there? But honestly, like after building the old Monogram B25, that's completely changed my outlook now on it. Completely. It's like, they're nice. They're really, really good, solid kits.
Again, I think the thing is, it's that thing, isn't it? We often say about, they were a nightmare back in the day and they were full of filler. But I think that was our skill level. We didn't appreciate a little bit of... Yeah, well, that's what we did. It was like, it had horrible seams and joints because, to be honest, we didn't care. You just wanted to get it together. Nowadays, if you revisit, and obviously me and Matt have done a few now of like older kits, classic kits, the Monogram ones we've done, things like that. They're really nice kits. This thing's 50 years old and it goes together. There's no fit issues that I could find with this at all. And that, in my head, no kit ever went together when I was young. They all were crap. But actually, they were all right. It was me, it was because I just didn't have the care, attention, the knowledge, and all the rest of it to put them together nicely. But as you say, if you look back at some of the old kits, they are absolutely fantastic, and I would quite happily, like I said to Matt, we'll finish this one off, I would actually quite like to do the GR3 to go along with it. I'd say I can't because obviously through the job, but we've done it now. But I would be more than happy to. If somebody said, right, you can do a Harrier next, I'd do it because I now know, right, just get rid of all the surface detail and start again. It's not that big a job. It's actually quite straightforward. It's quite therapeutic in a lot of ways, and then you can do a nice wraparound camo on that. I'm thinking be quite nice actually to do a GR3 with it.
Well, I'm in the same boat with you because finishing the 190 off. I've got a 109 that Nathan gave me. And again, I'll tackle that because I know that is nowhere near a handful of what that 190 is. I keep pointing to it because it's up there. I'm looking at it. It's obviously off camera. But and actually, I'm quite looking for because I've never done one of the 124th scale airfix kits at all, ever.
Yeah.
From when obviously till I started that 190. And I've got to say, I really enjoyed it as well. It's a nice challenge. Again, it brushes up skills you kind of take for granted or you don't use as much, because modern kits are so well designed.
Yeah.
You don't really need to drop into that skill set that you used to have, or you've got there in your knowledge, and it's good just to keep it ticking over, because it's easy to forget, isn't it? You know, like you just move on, and that sort of thing fades away, and something else takes its place. But just general sort of fitting, really, isn't it? Getting things to fit, lining up, taking your time, taking a step back, and all that sort of stuff. Where I think when like you do like a Tamiya kit or a main kit or one of the newer, the newer kits, you don't even think about it, because you know pretty much it's going to fit.
Yeah.
Apart from cleaning up where it's attached to the runners, or taking the paint off because the tolerances are so tight, you just sort of take it for granted that it's just going to fit. And when it don't, it's like, oh, that's the worst kit in the world. It's like, let's bash this kit because it's crap. When it's obviously not crap, it's just, you know what I mean? You get yourself into that mindset, don't you? That it should fit, because now, it's a computer-aided design, so why don't it fit?
Yeah.
The only thing is like we always said, is clear parts, isn't it, when they don't fit?
Yeah, they're annoying.
That is the issue, isn't it? When clear parts don't fit, or they're not very well moulded, or they're foggy, or whatever else, that is sort of the be-all and end-all of a kit, in a way, for an aircraft kit anyway. Obviously, armour and whatever is a different sort of a chat sort of thing. But for aircraft, like I say, if your clear parts are knackered, yellowed, like I say, you can't see through them, then you're fighting a bit of a losing battle, aren't you, to a point, unless you are skilled enough to obviously re-vac form your own off them, or you know. But I think as well with a 3D printing thing, because obviously you can 3D print clear resin. I think again in a few years' time that could be, now you had your vac form canopies. Some bright spark will be doing a thing, and you'll just be able to print your own clear parts that probably fit.
That'd be the ultimate thing for your garage kit makers, wouldn't it? Like,
because at the moment you can get resin clear parts, and they've done, because obviously years ago when I did that Tucano, that's resin for the clear part, and it is absolutely crystal clear. It's a really, really good job on that. Very clever that you can get a resin that clear.
But HPH do it, don't they? They've been doing it forever, because their clear parts are resin.
My radio that I built, that's HPH resin. Resin canopy on it.
Yeah. I bet your Tiger Cat's got.
I've got an Alley Cat resin cockpit canopy for the Nimrod, and that is, that's stunning.
Again, when you got to the thing, you can just put a file on and upload it and print your own. That's going to be mega. That is.
Yes.
It's just.
But anyway, we were going to sort of follow on a conversation that me and Phil had on Tuesday, weren't it? On Thursday, I forget what day it is. On Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just sort of carry on what we was talking about, and we was going to kind of chuck it back, weren't we? We've discussed this earlier. Chuck it back to the audience of like your, I won't say more modelling nemesis, but sort of what can put you off, I suppose. I don't know. How can I word it, Phil? What's a good way of wording that?
During the entire, from opening the box to finishing model, we all have an area we struggle at, So, like, for instance, for me, for many, many years, it was, seam lines and just making sure they don't come back and all things like that. But other people suffer with airbrush problems. Some people suffer from metal problems, natural metal finishes. Some people suffer from, like, with weathering, with chipping. Me, that was another thing. Really find it hard to chip because I usually overdo it and it just looks crap. So, but again, we've all got our little sticking points in the hobby, which it's really hard to get your head around. And sometimes it's one of those things where you just haven't found the right product or the right technique for doing it yet that works for you, and so forth and so on. So we did say we'd have a little bit of a health clinic where you shout out what problems you've got and we'll try and diagnose you and get you on the right track with it.
But also it's that thing as well, like, do you personally think you overthink it as well, the hobby?
Yes.
So it's more, you're making it more complicated than actually it should be, because you could just talk yourself out of doing stuff, can't you? Because there's, I suppose, like 101 ways of doing stuff. So
I think that is the thing. We've often said a lot of the people who are building, who we talk to and have problems with it, there's normally a stumbling block, and it really zaps your mojo. you know, for actually building a kit, because you just struggle with it every time. And it might be airbrushing, or it might be construction, it might be, you know, whatever your little problems are with it. But we often said it can be one of those things that can actually kill your hobby, because you don't enjoy it. You're coming down and you're facing a problem that you just can't get your head around and can't seem to move on from it, isn't it, at the end of the day? You know, we've all got them. Andy, what's your nemesis?
It used to be metalwork. Yeah, so like get natural metal finishes, but it's fair that's not with modern paints. It's not really such a problem nowadays.
I could tell you what Andy's is if Andy would let me put in here. I can tell you what your nemesis is, Andy, while I'm sat here.
Go on then. I don't think I'd agree with you, but go on then.
Overthinking.
Oh yeah, probably yeah, fair enough.
Procrastinating and overthinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is I don't want to F it up. For, if you know what I mean. So it's all like, yeah. That's probably, it's probably actually, yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah. And I just don't, rather than just getting on with it, I'd probably just, spend too long thinking about it.
I think we are all guilty of that. It's that thing, isn't it? When you're working on your model, you don't want to screw it up. You're trying to think of the best ways to do things and what's going to work without actually doing it. And you're just constantly going around in your head, how am I going to do it? And not, you know, like I said, sometimes you've literally just got to throw yourself in and do it, you know, and
I mean,
and
I know,
trust in yourself that it's going to not screw it up.
Yeah. I mean, I've decided over the past couple of days exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. So, I'm going to be chipping it, and then I'm decided I'm going to weather with pencils. Because I know others have tried it before, but it's something I've never tried before, so I'm going to go with that. And I tried the black basing, which I can't say didn't work, because it has, because I've not really done much weathering on this, but it looks like it's been weathered, and that's purely through the black basing, so it has worked. So I'm gonna the mottling with the black the back squiggly lines. So it definitely has done something to it. Not as much as I probably thought it would. But I'm gonna go with the weathering pencils once I've done my chipping. Which I was going to do tonight, but probably not now.
Probably not. No. Yeah, you said we were doing a building bloody show.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what we were doing.
Well, you can. We can talk and work at the same time, and got a problem with that.
Well, we've got to we'll have a chat about this because we've got quite a few questions to get through as well. I think, obviously, looking at what people are saying here, we've got weathering is coming up. Because, again, I think the trouble with weathering, which is quite rightly, and Andy is a classic example, he doesn't want to stuff it up. He's got a really nice-looking model, and you're now terrified that you could ruin it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the other thing as well. With modern materials we're using, like oils, you know, and you've got sealer coats on your model now and all the rest of it, if it doesn't work, you just wash it off.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll just wipe it away, let it dry, and go again, isn't it? So, I wouldn't worry about that bit too much.
I think one thing that's done me is, like, Matt's going on about the this OPR thing. And I've never actually still haven't found a video, even by the original person, that purely properly explains to me what I'm actually doing with it. I don't know whether I've missed a video that actually does explain it properly, because I've been through the videos that I've watched, and all I just see is...
I know what you're saying, Andy, because I've watched some of those videos as well, and it's long videos that don't actually really, at the end of the day, explain a lot.
No. And apart from it,
a bit like us then.
yeah. Apart from him keep saying about the story or whatever it is, I don't. It doesn't actually show, right. I'm going to use this colour. I'm going to go around this panel like this, and then blend off like this. It's just like it's a lot of words and not a lot of.
Yeah, it's a lot of waffle and not a lot of actual explanation, isn't it?
Funny that, isn't it? What you've not taken and I've taken loads out of it in a way, but then I'm like adapting it with Phil's wash, because I'm actually liking using Phil's dust, grime and dark dirt in the same principle as the OPR technique.
Yeah. And
then obviously final bits of streaking and leaks and all that is obviously oil paints just come into their own.
Yeah.
But to me, like, because Phil's is a natural product as well, the dirt effects and what I want now, I can get through the wash.
Yeah.
But that's all because he's done the dust wash. I couldn't do it before the dust wash, which sounds a daft thing to say. I probably could, because I could have mixed light and grime and made a dust wash, I suppose. But look at him, he's melting, look.
Yeah, that's it. It's very warm.
But the dust wash to me has just been like a complete game changer. And just the theory that I keep going on about is light to dark, light to dark. And I think that'll work if you're using oil paints, fills wash, enamels, pencils, pastels, whatever, pigments, whatever. That theory of light to dark to me now is so ingrained for weathering, it's just not going to leave me, and it works. For me, it works. I can't say for everybody else.
But then it's all right. So you've got Phil's dust wash, which is your light, I presume.
Yes.
What are you doing with it? On an aircraft?
Building it up. I'm building up layers of wear and tear. So, because obviously the theory behind it is, I've probably explained this before.
Hold on, can we just start 1 sec? Hold on, what's OPR?
Oil rendering.
Oil paint rendering.
Oil paint
rendering. Right,
now
sorry, because I haven't heard of this at all. This is all new to me.
We've got the Flory wash rendering.
Okay, so it's now
the new
Flory
version.
wash rendering.
This is the
The
2020.
FWR.
Basically working on very small parts at a time to get a part right, rather than doing, say, a whole wing or whole aircraft. You start doing a part and spending time on that part. But
can you do that on natural metal?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity. Just asking for a friend.
Just asking for a friend. Yeah, I suppose you can. I think the whole thing behind the light to dark is, is if you go dark straight away, it's hard to come back from it being dark. So you're just building light, mid-tone, and dark. You know what I mean? So you start with light tone, then like you've got, say, your grime, or we'll do Phil's wash. So you've got your dust wash first, which is your light tone, right? Your mid-tone then is going to be your grime. And then obviously your dark dirt is going to be your dark when you want to outline panel lines or access hatches and all that. And I think the thing is to stop making it look uniform, because you just put a dark wash on and you've got like a uniform surface, haven't you, of a dark
Yeah.
Yeah, whether you use oils, fills wash, whatever you use, right? But actually, if you look at real life, things don't weather and wear down and all that sort of stuff, do they? They do certain bits, you've got to have access and all that. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to go off on one, so it's probably not best if we carry on with that conversation.
Just plain devil's advocate here. If you built a really nice model and painted in that, you don't have to weather it if you don't want to.
No. There's nothing to say. Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy weathering. I enjoy things that look crap. When we was on holiday, the amount of stuff that was worn, hammered, was just inspirational, to be honest. I probably should have took a lot more photos. I know when we were at Corfu Airport, there's an old Antonov at the far side of the airfield that's just abandoned there, and it would have been mega if you could get to it to take some photos. It's like an AN2, I think. So if anybody's been to Corfu, they'll probably know what I'm on about. And then a couple of crop dusters was parked up, but this AN2 was like just been abandoned at the other side of the airfield, and it was stuff like that. I think just inspires me rather than something that's quite pristine and clean. But
that's like a
personal choice,
of it, is it?
Again, with weathering, I always say it's one of those things. Like John was pointing out, you don't have to, weather right the way through. You could just put a simple wash on it just to highlight the panel lines and just break it up a little bit, and that's it. And that's all you need to do. Then obviously if you wanted to, you could do a little bit more with it, and you can just build up those layers. But again, this goes back to what we were saying on Tuesday. The trouble with the world is now we've almost got that Instagram look to your model, where it's got to look like this. And like we said before, well, no, because that's just some modeller's representation of it. Is it realistic? Probably not. But it looks good, and I'll give them that. It looks fantastic. But, that's not for me, and it might not be for somebody else. And you get somebody else who doesn't want to weather the model at all, and they just want it to look pristine and nice, And that is the thing, isn't it? Right the way through with it all. But, weathering with oils was always a nightmare for me until I learned proper oils and proper thinners. When you do it on the cheap, it just doesn't work.
But I must admit, I do like an armour when it's over highlighted. And it's all like makes it look. I know it doesn't look right, but I think it looks nice when it's done like that. It's just I don't know what to do with it.
It is. I mean, armor as well. I mean, I've been to a few. Well, Bath and West show we went to this year, and they had the army there with some trucks, and I think they had a Challenger there and that, and they look pristine. You look at them and you think, ooh, you know, they just look like.
Yeah, because every time they use, they take into the depot and respin and jet wash down and
hosed it down. Yeah,
they do look very toy-like.
Yeah.
You just want that monotone block of colour.
Thing is, though, if they was in a battlefield situation, they wouldn't look like that, because obviously they've got time to be washing it off. It's in action and it's doing its job, and that's why if you're looking at the news and just looking at the stuff in the Ukraine, you know, there's like a lot of quite inspirational stuff to take from sort of that conflict.
Yeah,
and then if you go back,
clean them, do they, and repair them and whatever.
They've just got to get them back in action, whichever side it is. They've just got to use them, haven't they? So it doesn't really matter about what the paint job's like. So
with what Phil said about like the Instagram modeler and that has always been my biggest nemesis. Is my head always wanting to build a perfect model every time. And I've realised over
let me just search on Instagram for models. Hang on a minute.
With XXX at the end.
Over many years, I've realised that there's no such thing as the perfect model. And the worst thing is when it's your own, you know where the mistakes are, so they stick out like a sore thumb. But when anyone looks at them, the chances are they don't notice it.
Yeah, of course, and I've often said there's no such thing, I don't think, as a perfect model, and definitely mine are far from perfect models. They've all got problems with it and all the rest of it. It's just what you're happy to live with, you know? But same thing goes. Obviously, if I know something's wrong with my model, I'm not going to take a photo of that area.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're going to angle it slightly out the way as that wheel is sticking out a bit, you know? Most of the wheels are pointing in the same direction and there's one slightly off. I might just angle it slightly so it looks a little bit better, you know? So,
with that, like the perfect model thing, I think everybody's fallen into that trap at some point, haven't they? Let's be honest, you've all figured. But I think I made peace with myself about that a good few years ago now. Just it is what it is, and move on into the next one, because otherwise you're never going to build anything, and you're just going to get down about it and lose your mojo.
I think I've not lost my mojo with this at all throughout the whole build. The thing that is it's an aircraft that I've wanted to build for a long time, and I've taken out my stash and I built it, and now I want it to be the best I can do it, and it's not the best I can do it, but I don't know what I want to do with it next to carry on doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Then why don't you do what I do, Andy? Is just do something else and then come back to it.
Because I want to get this gutted out before I start anything else.
Because I think that's
that finished and done.
That's my main problem. I think is like I get so far and then I hit a block, and then I have to put it to one side and come back to it and finish it. And I do it with most things. And I think that's the main problem I've got now. Where I've just like say I get so far, and I normally get it painted to that point at least, and then it's like you say the weathering bit for me. Then I have to figure it out. To be honest with you, now I'm kind of settling on this sort of technique that I've got in my head now. It should help things along because I know roughly now how to do it. I've got a base to work from, but that's mainly for aircraft. I need to try it back with
next week when we've got a minute, I'll be bringing this to work with me, and you can weather it for me.
Chuck some stuff on it.
Chuck some grime over it, it'd be fine.
So that grime and dot dirt on it.
Just remember,
because that's desert, isn't it? Dust, grime, and sand, and just make a pallet full and mix it and flick it on, and just general wear and tear, I think. So,
and just remember all these fantastic models you see on the internet and that by these very good modelers, but dare I say it, Photoshop does work wonders, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, recolouring and making them all fancy and all the lighting and all stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I bet there's a few blemish removals going on, like airbrushing it out.
If you enter your kits into a competition nowadays, you've got to make sure the underside's done properly as well, apparently. But we're not going there anyway, so carry on.
Well, they're checking the undersides these days.
Have you seen it? Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
If you've not seen it, David, we'll talk about it later.
No, didn't know about this one.
There is a question in the clinic, picking up
Go on.
from earlier, if you're ready for it.
Yeah, go for it.
From Phil Jacobs, he said it's an easy question from him. What the hell do I use to glue a vac form canopy?
Oh yeah, talk about nemeses, vac form canopy. I've never ever got on with them.
I've used vac form canopies and I've not had any trouble with them.
No, I've got a video on it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
well, it was Phil's video that I used to do. I've done a couple now, and it was Phil's video which you watched to learn how to do it. Yeah, drawing around with a Sharpie and then cutting it and making sure you don't cut it too much, and then just keep
then work
sanding
it
it down
in.
to that size.
So,
Well, I just use crystal
Crystal
clear.
clear. Yeah, I do.
The only clue I'll get. I'll
so
not
what's
put
your
it in.
problem then, John?
Oh, I just hate the bloody things.
So it's actually not then the thing, it's just you just don't like using them. That is not actually the back form part, it's you. You do know.
I've never got on with any vac form canopy I've bought to replace a kit part.
All right.
I've got one for this.
You know what?
Do you know what? I think the back form fits better than the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
I always think with vac form kit, the great thing about vac form canopies, there's always a little bit of meat on it. And my problem with normal canopies is that they don't fit because there's not enough of it. There's a gap. And that's the nice thing with vac form canopies. Normally, because you've got a bit of meat on it, you can fill that gap with it.
Yeah, and you can make it fit, can't you? You can
you make it fit whatever it is going on to. And that's why I quite like vac form stuff. And then just, as you say, Andy said, just PVA glue it. Crystal clear is my choice, and just whack it down with it. But that's why I actually like vac form, because normally this one's an exception. It fits a gem of a fit, but sometimes like front windscreens, there's a small gap in an area where you've got the meat on the vac form one, and just gently sand it and make it a perfect fit. So when you put it onto it, it's seamless.
And the only big problem I found with them is that they generally don't have very defined.
The framework, the framework's not sharp at all. It's usually very soft, so it's difficult to get a nice edge on it. Yeah.
God forbid if you want to show open canopies and that. Oh, I send shivers down the spot.
you could get two. Just do like a.
You normally quite often you get two, don't you, with them as well?
Yeah, usually you get two. So if you screw one up, you've got another shout.
Hey, you've got your safety net.
Yeah.
Back in the day, back form used to be scale thickness. If you're in a 72 scale kit, you get a back form canopy, it would be thinner, and you wouldn't get the weird lens distortion.
I was going to say, if you go back to the 70s and even early 80s, canopies were just awful. And if you were of a certain builder, you would always get a replacement. You just, like we now with the mast set, you just get a vac form canopy for it, because the cockpit, the kit one's awful.
I was going to say, can you remember Falcon?
Yeah.
Falcon back form, where you used to get that, and then it's Squadron who do the others, isn't it?
Squadron did it,
back form canopies, was it?
There used to be loads of them, Yeah, and they did pretty much everything. Because it used to be Squadron, used to be my first look. If I need a replacement one, see if Squadron's got one. Because they sort of almost did everybody.
Still growing?
Yeah, you can still get them. Yeah, you can still buy them,
Are you ready for the next patient?
Yeah.
Yes, go on then. Next one is...
Right, so Patrick Adams has put more of a philosophical question up, I think. When it's time to step up your modelling level, got some lovely kits in the stash, and he's worried about doing them justice. He's done Tamiya 48 scale aircraft and feels fine with them, but he's looking at a 48 scale Lancaster and a B-17 from HK, and he's worried he's going to cock them up.
Yeah, well, don't.
It's a philosophical question.
But what you worried you're going to cock up? That's the question. Which part are you worried you're going to cock up?
I'll guarantee what it is. In your head, you've got this picture of the perfect model, and that's what you're going to want to build. Yeah. And like we said before, it doesn't happen. Not even with professional modelers of God knows how many decades experience.
I think the thing is, but is like let it naturally progress. Which is something I've learned as well. Is like the model will kind of take you in a direction once you get so far with it. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll start your model, you open it up or whatever, and you'll start putting some bits together, and then slowly you will get into doing that kit. Do you know what I mean? It's
trying to stop it from going in the direction of the wall or the bin is the problem.
I've got
Also, when you're working on bigger kits, if you're working on like the bombers, because I've done them, both the HK 48 scale Lancaster and B-17, as I say, don't treat it as this big object. Break it down into subsections. So when you do it, you can start with the cockpit, the front end, and you just work on those areas. Then you're going to work through the midsection, down the tail section, and obviously the tail in those types of areas. And then, you know, as I say, have fun with it, enjoy the build and all the rest of it. And again, one of those things, you're not going to see much inside it anyway, but, you know, you can put in as much detail as you want or not bother, you know, right the way through. And then it's just a case of, right, we're going to work on the engines, with the engines and cells. The wings actually come together quite quickly on that one anyway, because there's not a lot to it, you know. And then before you know it, it's pretty much built.
But then you've painted it. You painted it then, and your brain then just suddenly goes empty, and then you don't know how to weather it.
Just chuck a coat of dark dirt wash over it with a bit of dust these days, and you'll be fine.
It's
the mental approach to those ones, isn't it? Kit within a kit. Do the props, do the wheels, do the cockpit.
Yeah, break it all down. I know a lot of people said to me about, oh, when I do certainly the bigger kits, oh, I could never do that. It's well beyond mine. No, it's not. It's, you know, you're just breaking it all down into small sections. And I've done that with this because the thought of having to rub this entire thing down, rescribe and re-rivet everything on it is an absolute nightmare to me. But again, it's one of those, right, okay, rubbing it all down. Admittedly, that took quite a few days to get that sorted. But when we came back to rescribing, re-riveting, it was that thing. One wing, then the other wing, then we did the front end up here, then the back, then we flipped it over and repeated. But it was done in sections. I wasn't going to run through and try and do it all in one because, again, you make a mistake, you're going to be then thinking, but if you've made a small mistake down in here, you go, right, okay, well, look, we can get a little bit of filler or whatever you're doing with it, pop that in. As that's drying, I'll work on another area, you know, and then can go back and fix it, you know. So, again, it's one of those things, just breaking it down into sub-assemblies all the way through, and it will just help you right the way through. And, again, don't think of it like Andy, of this big thing then, and now what am I going to do with it? Because again, don't forget painting, base coats going on, then you might go with a little bit of weathering, things like that, getting your decals down, making sure they're fine. Again, with decaling, I know I was reading the questions as well, some people were saying about decaling's a nightmare. Again, subdivide it. I always do this thing, especially Phantoms, because they're a nightmare. Yeah, luckily the Zucamori one's quite nice because on there, they do the decals in an order as they go on, so they're done in sections, but it's not, so you're not chasing the paper around all over your model. But even if you are, start on a wing and hold it somewhere else, you know, wait till that's completely dry, then you can move over there and do the other side, things like that. But it may take you 2 or 3 days to do it, and if that's the case, it's part of the journey of your build, you know. So don't,
you know, if you don't give these kits a go, you're never going to have the experience, are you? How many little kits do you build?
True.
I mean, we've all been there, and we've all used it as an excuse to avoid building.
But just you know, like the questions that were being asked here, I bet you 90% of these questions, you know, when it's like it's going to do with painting and weathering, but what's holding people back?
Yeah,
I'd say. You
So
know,
what have you got planned for weathering that, Matt?
Well, I don't know. I'll just, you know, probably a bit of dust wash, bit of grime, bit of dark dirt, and then tomatoes. But you know, I use on about, like Phil's just said about breaking it all into sections like cockpit, you know, because this is, for me, this is quite a big kit, to be perfectly honest. You know, I don't normally into 24 for anything, even though it's not a big aircraft in real life, but you know what I mean? But like when it comes to obviously painting and weathering it was the theory of, well, I weather that on an evening, that wing. Right,
but that comes in that OPR thing, though, doesn't it? Where
it does, yeah. And then I'll weather that wing, and then I'll weather perhaps the back end or the front end, or do the underneath, and I'll just break it down into little sub-assemblies of weathering it. And I think, like you say, once you do the light to dark theory, you kind of know where you're at if you leave it for a few days or a week, because you know what you've used, so you just carry on where you've left off. And this is definitely more for people, not probably so much like Phil, because he's doing it as a job, but you know, guys who have got, like we were saying the other day, have only got perhaps an hour of modelling an evening or on weekend or whatever, and they perhaps want to tackle something bigger. It's a lot nicer way of actually doing it, because the theory behind it, you've actually completed something, or you nearly completed it at the end of your session, so you're you've gained something. You know where you're going. So that's the bit of the old theory of it behind it or whatever I like, because for me it actually works. Just doing that rather than seeing it all come together at the end, or hoping it all comes together.
It's the internet thing again, brainwashing you that a model's not good if it's not weathered the hell out of.
Yeah.
You don't have to, spend masses of time weathering your model if you don't want to. If you're just building it for yourself and it's going to sit on your shelf.
Yeah. Again, that's personal taste though from individuals, isn't it?
You go as far or not as far as you want to with it, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've often said that, the great thing about this hobby is that it's your hobby and you can do whatever you want. If you want to weather it and go completely to town and spend 6 months poking at it with a stick, then knock yourself out. But if you just want to go with something and you're done, stick a simple wash over it and walk away, absolutely.
I think it's one of the reasons why I enjoy the turkey shoot builds that we do. All the model, the Flory best ones that we do, is because I can't think about it.
Yeah, you don't have time to think.
There's not time to think about it. It's just build it, paint it, weather it, in 3-4 days, and it's done. I mean, whereas if I didn't have a time scale, it's I'd paint it and think, all right, but is that the right colour? And I spend half a day on the internet looking to see if it's the right colour or not, right shade of green.
It's easy to go down rabbit holes.
Oh yeah.
We down rabbit holes, don't we? Right, we've got 4 more questions.
Go on in, rattle through them, because then we've got questions to do. Yeah, go on.
Give shorter answers to these ones, I think.
Yeah.
So Ted, you'll have to pardon me for not having to go at your surname. He's building the Airfix 72 scale Vulcan for a friend who wants it to be perfect, but he's got issues of peeling paint. What's causing that?
Does it say what paint he's using?
It doesn't say, but is that because the model's got grease on it? And it's primer that's the bother, isn't it?
That could be.
Yeah.
Not fully mixed paint either.
Or has he primed it?
Yeah, we need
I don't have peeling paint, but if I use Tamiya paint as a primer and I mask it, I've got to be super careful because it lifts dead easy. But I've heard someone else having this issue with a Vulcan, and I think it's got mold release agent on it because it's such a big wing.
It could be, yeah.
I've heard I think I'm ringing a bell that I've heard that. So,
again, or just make sure it's thoroughly cleaned. Give it a rub over before when it's still in plastic with IPA. If you've got some IPA or even just an acrylic airbrush cleaner, just give it a fully wipe over to make sure that it's actually, there's no grease or anything on. Because obviously off your hands, just the oils from your hands. If you're a greasy person.
I've never been one of these that washes the sprues before they start building.
No, I don't.
No.
I just build it and then, like you say, just a bit of IPA and wipe it down before you start.
Yeah.
I do it. I had the kit I can't remember which one it was now, but I did take it out in the kitchen and I did give it a bit of a whiz round in warm water with some fairy in it. Washing up liquid. Because you could physically, looking at the sprue, it was glistening. And it was a lot of detail. It's not like wings and things you could just give a wipe. And I thought, do you know what? So I've got like a 2-inch brush, soft one, and just whizzed round it all with it in there, rinsed it under the old cold tap and left them on the draining board to dry overnight and to go with it. Because I was just looking at the sprue and it's really shiny. There was a lot of release agent in that one. So I assume they give a quick spray with the old can onto the actual moulds, and then if you're the first one that's come out, it's going to have a lot of it on it. So it may be just a case of that. And like Nathan said, that is a big wing in that kit, so it might have a bit of release agent over it. I don't remember it doing it on mine. So,
and it can depend on what paint you're using as well, can't it?
Well, what I was about to say with paint is drying times again. If it ain't cured properly, it's not adhered. Depending on what you're using, because I say we could do with kind of knowing what paint you're using and when you've painted it and how long you've left it before you start masking. Because that is going to be another issue big time if it's not properly cured and gassed off and all that. So
next one, you ready?
Yeah.
I feel like GP and give quick answers next. Quick answer next, right? Krista is asking. He's making plans for the turkey shoot, or he's ordered a kit, the Tacom Skoda 42cm heavy siege howitzer. Has anyone else made any plans for the turkey shoot build?
No.
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 I look in the stash, literally
Yeah.
days before and pull some out. So no.
Something Airfix Series 2, Series 1, not natural metal is my answer.
My normal criteria is what the paint scheme is, because
Yeah,
that's the thing that takes the longest time to do anything, waiting for the paints to dry. So generally I try and go for something that's either just one or two colours on the paint scheme.
Mine might be a 124 Spitfire Mark 9. I can do that in 2 days.
Just bang it together. It's fine. It'd be
I
good
just
shape.
shape the box and
Yeah.
Mind you, when I did that Spitfire in a day, that's because it was one colour.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that, but I wouldn't do that because it's natural metal.
Yeah.
Take natural metal.
I'm
Right,
thinking
next.
148 scale armour will be a good shout.
Yeah, that's good. Tamiya armour. Right, next one.
Yep.
Go on, Em.
Paint. So Chris Brown is asking, he says, my paint skills aren't great and it ends up with different shades when I'm finished. But in the end looks good because then I have accidentally got weathered aircraft panels. So inconsistent colour. Has anyone else ever had that?
I think that's probably like Matt would always say, not mixing your paint correctly.
I think that's more coverage.
Yeah.
Or coverage as well. Yeah.
That's coverage, because if it was ink, it wouldn't adhere. You'd have problems with it. That's probably just not enough coverage to get a good even coat. But if it's working in your favour,
then go with it.
well, there you go. Happy nickel accidents and all that, run with it. Because if you're happy with what you've put down and you're getting the results you want, run with it. Keep it. Brilliant. I've done that. I did that with the B25, didn't I? Because I've over-thinned the paint.
Because you over-thinned the paint,
This is going to take forever, but actually it worked in my favour with it being too thin. But yeah.
And the last one, this is one of my something I wish I'd this stops me doing these sort of kits, to be honest. Mark Massey has put, it's the gloss finish on car kits that kill me. Just always end up with something landing on it, or runs, or orange peel. So it just always kicks his ass, to quote what he says here. But I'm the same. I can't get it out quick enough. I did like an Italian job mini, and I had a bit of a fleck in the roof, and I was like, oh, for God's sake! And it's like sanding it. But then I learned something off Matt. You can sand paint.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just not. This is one of Matt's that I know for a fact that he used to paint cars for a living. Yeah. And how many times did you have to respray that Lamborghini that you were doing and rub it down, and because of problems with the paint and
a Lamborghini?
Yeah, wasn't it a Lamborghini you did?
Yeah, it was that Jag, wasn't it? Wasn't that E-Type Jag you did?
No, it was the gold one. What was the goldy coloured one you did? Bronzy coloured thing you did. What was it?
Lost in the sands of time now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
But what's your general technique for gloss?
To be honest with you, I've had more runs than I can shake a stick at. I've had more silicons than you can. Everything that could go wrong, I've had go wrong with gloss work. Everything. A fly landing in it, in a wet bonnet, in the middle of it. You name it, it's probably happened over time, and it's frustrating. It's annoying. It's part of it. Little bits as well. Like you're always going to get little bits in the atmosphere. However pristinely clean your environment is, you are going to get bits. It comes off you. Little bits of fibre come off you, off your head, off your clothes, anything. And obviously,
also, I just say as well, one thing that I learned was that this stuff's a nightmare.
Yeah.
If you're like me, especially the cheaper brand, shall we say, and like I do, because obviously you can see it here. I keep remembering I haven't got a cable, it's great. But obviously I just put this down. But the thing is, when you're spraying it, those fibres go airborne. And even though I've got twin extractors in there, not all of it goes in. And in sometimes you can actually, from environmental, pull it off of yourself, and then because it's being drawn, but it's going downhill because of the weight, it lends in your model as well.
If you wet it down beforehand with your airbrush with some water,
that's what I tend to do.
Coming.
Yeah, I must admit, that's a little trick I learned. With this stuff is before I go in, when we was doing the gloss work, when I did the truck, I actually same thing. I just put normal clean water in the airbrush and just blew it all around the entire bay just to damp it all down and everything else. Then I did the truck in there. But as I say, there's no such thing as a sterile environment unless you're in a vacuum. You know,
It's
you're
like,
going to get it.
I was watching about putting your screens on your mobile phone. And the best place to do it in is your bathroom when somebody's had a shower.
Yeah.
Because the environment in there, because it's like, moist and what have you, it keeps all the dust down and everything, so it's all right, it helps them, get it dust free.
Everybody's rushing to the bathroom after they've had a shower.
Yeah.
Gloss coat the models.
Sorry, love, hold on. I'm just going to gloss coat in here whilst you're drying.
Might not be quite right, but yeah.
It might not be quite right with the dampness in the air, like, he's not going to help you, but there's a theory behind it. But that's practice. That is honestly practice, Mark. I can't give you any more advice. It is just practice and experience of how far you can take your clear coat before it runs.
Yeah.
And confidence. It's a self-confidence thing as well, and that is just experience of keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and then you will get. I mean, the best thing you can probably do, I don't know if you chop and change your clear coats, but is actually just stick to one clear coat as well, rather than different brands of it. If you use, say, GX100, stick with that, or whoever you're using.
Goozy agent.
No, not for. I don't think I'd use that on a car, if I'm honest. I don't think it'd be good enough. You do a lot of flattening and buffing and polishing. To me, the single pack lacquer stuff like the GX100 or the LP whatever in LP9 is it?
Yeah, because you need to get proper hard.
They are by far the easiest gloss coats to use. If you're using acrylic glossers, which I don't like them if I'm perfectly honest, because I think they dry too fast. But you can do it, but you'll be doing, like I say, a lot of flattening and polishing to get your gloss back. Even X22 to a point. It's okay, I think, for aircraft. I don't know about for actually if I was going to clear coat a car or a bike or something. I don't know. I think you could do it, but it takes a lot.
And I think that's one of the secrets as well, is don't be afraid of like flattening it and polishing it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it with just spraying a gloss coat on it, are you? Not
unless you use
deep shine.
Yeah, not unless you're using two pack stuff, which we have used, but I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you've got the right environment to do it, and then you are going to get an instant gloss, and it's going to look ace.
Well, that's what the Tamiya polishing compounds are for, aren't they?
Yeah.
For polishing gloss coats on vehicles and things.
But
again, Mark just asked a quick question. Is there any argument for using a rattle can?
I have. I used one on the what did I use it on? The Mustang. Because I knackered the gloss coat up at the airbrush, and I can't remember why it did. I ended up, I've got a rattle can. Which one did I have? I can show you. I think this is one of them. I've got, and I just that's the matte one, but I had the gloss one, and I just used that, and that was pretty good, to be honest. I don't think that's cheating. If it works, it works. It doesn't matter how it, you know what I mean? If it's...
Yeah. It's just, it's very, not very controllable, is it?
Yeah, but if you're just gloss coating something...
Yeah, and just banging it straight on,
just, as long as you're even and you're quite at a decent distance, you can get on, you can build up, and it's really good stuff, and it dries rock hard. I wouldn't... obviously we're in the UK, so I presume Telfords do some sort of clear coat out of a rattle can. It normally comes down to the spray pattern on the nozzle, and them Gunsy ones have a really nice spray pattern, so you can quite get it on nice. I don't know about obviously Telfords or anybody else's, but rattle can it definitely.
There you go, Mark. Good luck with your Golf GTI then.
If you're doing your cars and that, a good one to watch on YouTube is A4 Garage, isn't it?
He's good. And I tell you what helps as well, if you haven't got one of them.
An anti-static brush.
Anti-static brush in between coats, make sure it's dry, and just give it a brush over. And it is for any model as well if you're painting, and just gets rid of, any static, which then obviously draws in the little bits of crap. If I had a big one of these when I was doing it professionally, it would have been a godsend, to be honest. Seriously, it would. Because you can get anti-static, air blower thing, air guns, which stuff in. We used to do it for de-dusting and stuff. You can get anti-static ones of them, except for they are like stupidly expensive, like unbelievably for what they are expensive. But I suppose if they've saved you redoing the car again,
couple
Yeah, it
of
wouldn't take long
cars
to
It's
pay
down
for
probably
the
pay
aisle.
for itself. It's that
Yeah.
initial outlay. They're like a couple of grand or something. They're quite expensive for what they are, but I suppose in the long term, they probably save you money if you've not, got less flattening and polishing to do. But
That's it for the clinic.
is that it? Oh God, we've got like 15 minutes.
15 minutes for questions.
15 minutes to go through most questions we've had for ages. Right, okay. John says, hi, question for all. He goes, he wants to buy 3D parts for the 1/24 scale Harrier, but he wants the GR3, so he needs the Mark 9 seat. Can you tell me if you intend to do a Mark 9 in the future? No plans at the moment, to be honest. I was waiting to hear back from somebody, but he hasn't got back to me yet about 3D seats and things like that. So, yes.
We did look round, didn't we, a week or so ago, looking for GR9 seats and couldn't find it.
They do everybody
No.
else but Mark 9s, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Martin says, hi Phil and Matt, I'm just starting the Hasegawa 148 scale FG1 Phantom, and I seem to remember Phil pointing out some fixing on the intakes. Could you remind us? To be honest, I was having a look for it and I don't have the kit anymore, so I can't actually show you. If you look at the intake for the Phantoms, pretty much all of the normal J's and all the rest of it, there'll be a square in the top part as it joins the fuselage, and it's a step. And if you don't take it off, when you put it on, you will get a gap. But if you sand that off and then you put it on, you'll have no gap. The only thing is, I don't know, because obviously with the FGR Phantoms, it's a different intake and it's a different fuselage because it's bulgy and bigger. So I don't know if it's got it on there, but have a look at it. Just have a look at the intake, but you'll see it looks like a square on the end and it's a visible step. But I know it's obviously on the J kit and it's on some of the others as well, on the E's and stuff, because they've all got very similar intakes. So it's just that I don't know if it's a tooling mark or whatever it is in there, but they've all got it. And if you take rid of it or get rid of it, it means it'll be a seamless fit. And to be honest, it's the same as on the A4 Skyhawk has a similar issue to it as well. So if you just line them up, they will go beautifully in. And it's one of those things, couple of swipes with the sander stick, seamless intakes. Don't big seam line in it, So again, after you built a few, you suddenly twig it and go, that's why I have to get the filler out every time and make sure it's in there. But if you take your time with it, you can actually get them to need nothing at all. You just glue them in place, extra thin them, and they are absolutely seamless. So, he's saying also, loving the shows at the moment, really keeping me going with my mental health. It's been a bit of a struggle. No problem, Martin. Keep on the faith, that's it. Keep watching, keep building. Don't care, it's fine. Happy modelling is the way, isn't it? Do it for you. Okay, Roland says, hi Phil, I want to ask if you've ever considered building the SU-33 Flanker D from Minibase.
Has anybody
No.
actually building that kit?
Jesus.
Are you absolutely bonkers?
Yeah, that's it. You could spend 20 hours putting a flap together. Anyway, he says you reviewed the kit back in March 2001 and you called it, well I did, one of the most detailed kits ever designed. It definitely was that. As I have one in my stash and I appreciate your thoughts on this, so please let me know. Oh God. Yeah, build it. Start now, you'll be done by 2038. So
Might finish the same time as me.
Do you know what? It is that thing. If you have a look around, there isn't a lot you see built, is it?
No.
Considering, to be honest, it's a lovely kit. It's a fantastic kit. It's highly, highly detailed. But this is that thing again we were talking about zapping your mojo. How many do you reckon have been started and are just languishing in a box somewhere because they've been put aside because it's so detailed and such a mammoth task to get on with it.
It must suck unless you're a real building person. It must really suck the life out of you.
Or if you're a mega fan of the flanker, you've got
you've
something
got
to get you
that.
through.
Yeah. If you're a huge fan, you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't build one. No way could I ever tackle one of them.
I'm sure it would be the best looking one out there if somebody, if you did do it, like I said,
Yeah, but would it look any different to the kinetic one? If you're looking at it as you would a normal.
if you're looking at it from 4 foot away, probably not. That's the thing,
Any
isn't it?
different, is it?
Because to be honest, I've seen some of the kinetic ones done where people have opened them up and photo etch, and they are absolutely amazing. They look fantastic. But no, like, don't be put off by the kit. Just throw yourself into it and go at it. But as I say, it's one of those kits that's got a lot of detail, and most of it, unfortunately, you probably won't see. So, but it is all there.
And again, from your point of view, make a boring video.
It would be, yeah. Here we are building a flap.
This is
2 hours.
part 920.
Yeah, part 900. I think I can't remember what the one of the videos we have. It went right up. I think we're up to part sort of 19, 20 odd on one of the videos. I think one of them was like 22 parter. That was the biggest ones we've done, and they were like in depth, but nothing on that level even.
How many parts was the Typhoon?
I don't know, to be honest. Hold on, let's have a look.
That was a big build.
That was a big build. Was it into 19? I think it was something like 19 or 20. Hold on, I'll have a look. Where is it?
Place your bets now.
Place your bets now, everyone. Here we go. In 1.
17.
It wasn't as bad as you thought. It was 15 parter.
Ooh.
Yeah, 15 parts in that one.
What you on the Harrier?
It's going to be a 15 parter. Part 13, I think, is up tomorrow, and then 14 will be up with you on Monday, and then 15 I'm still working on for these final bits. I might re-edit it a little bit and bring it down to being a 14 parter, but yeah, it might be a 14. Yeah, it might be a 14 parter, but it'll be an hour last episode. So we will see. Right, okay. So, have you ever tried display paints? Didn't know they did them, to be honest.
No, it needs to me. They're doing paints, to be honest. Yeah.
Do they do Magnolia?
Yeah. What, to go with me rollers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I will have a word with the European importer about it, and I will see, because I must admit I didn't even know they did any.
So it needs to me that.
Right. Jesus says, "Hi team, a question for Phil. I remember hearing you say that some paints or washes can harm the clipping joints of Bandai kits. I can't remember if it was enamels or lacquers. Can you please resume the argument for me?" Okay, so basically it was just where they're under stress and push joints and things like that is when I did the ATST, the Scout, obviously built it all and it was all fantastic, and I gave it an oil wash right the way over it. Came down the next day and it just dissolved. Literally the plastic dissolves, and what it is a reaction between enamel, just normal enamel thinners, and the actual plastic. Only when it's under compression though. So if it's a push joint, like it is with the legs on that thing, you actually push them into it. That pressure, apparently it enables the oil to penetrate into the plastic and physically dissolves it. It's well known for the Bandai, Gunpla, Gundam and all that community because of this. And that's why all of their products and markers and things don't have like washes, because it wrecks them. But obviously if you use an acrylic wash or something else, or my wash or anything else, you are absolutely fine. What I would say though is obviously if you just still want to use an enamel wash or whatever you're using, just don't put it where there's a join, where it's obviously a proper pressure weight bearing join or anything else like that. If you just use it over surfaces and things, you'll be absolutely fine with it.
Do you reckon you could weather it and do all that before you?
I still think, yeah, you may be, as long as you didn't get it in there. But my thing was, I just gave it a wash and it seeped obviously into the joins, and then I came down. It was in bits. It wasn't just it fell over. It dissolved, and we actually had the plastic, and you put it between your fingers, and it just crumbles. So I ended up having to pin and super glue it. So yes, it's a bit one about that. He also says, how about a series about remedies, tricks you use on those kits you've done a zillion times? For the modeler who's unaware, I'm referring to things like intakes, and we're talking about on Hasegawa Phantoms, and problems on the F-18, blah, blah, blah. It's a very good idea, but the trouble is I'd have to buy a kit and then demo it on every single one. And it might take a while to go through them all because there's lots of them. But yeah, I know what you mean. But most of the ones I've shown it in a video somewhere. So like the course, the Skyhawk one, there's a Skyhawk video and it shows it in there. I think on the Phantom one, if you go back to the Phantom one, which was the Hasegawa kit, which was we shoehorned somebody else's cockpit into it. and it wasn't designed for it. I remember that one, but that I'll show it in that video as well. So they are in the videos all around. It's just that to do them all as like a snippet thing, yeah, it's a bit expensive way of doing it, because I'll ruin a good kit just to show how to put an intake in or something instead of doing a full video build with it. Martin says, hi team, question for Mr. Flory. Oh god, don't ask me, I know nothing. I'd love to build a Greek F4 in 1/48 scale. Do you know which kit will have the right bits for the Greek one? Any of the new Meng ones? I really found I've already found some aftermarket decals. And he's got some very nice picture. I can't show him because I've got other things on here. The actual lovely one. I assume that's Riat. Was there.
Yeah, Riat were.
So we're pretty sure it's an F, isn't it?
Which means it's the Hasegawa kit is the only one who do an F in 48.
No, it's an E.
It is an E, is it?
Oh, it's an E.
I'm looking. Do you know what I'm thinking? Go to Shop of Phantom. The Wingman Decals fella that does lots. I wonder if he's got something. I'm just going to have a quick look now.
Because your problem will be the radar warning receivers on the intakes, because it's the really long type, which I think is from the S Phantom S used to have them. The Hasegawa kit's got them in. Because they really go a long way down the intakes of both sides, on the outsides of the intakes.
So, okay, more than an S.
What's on the top of the nose in front of the cockpit?
That's the IFF upgrade they have, wouldn't it? It's like their version of a bird shredder, wouldn't it? I think on that one.
I don't think that's not on the Meng one.
No.
The Meng.
I think because obviously these are very much the late upgraded, you know, right the way through.
Yeah, and chat Asterios says you can make the early ones before the AUP upgrades.
Right.
And then Dirk says Hypersonic do the AUP set and BAM models as well.
Very nice.
No one's done a specific Greek kit, have they?
No,
Yeah.
but that thing on the top, isn't that the gun vent as well as the bird shredder on the front? That's what that is, isn't it? Because they have a little door, doesn't it? That opens up to help push the gases out of the gun area.
The decal manufacturers are usually quite good at recommending a kit, aren't they?
A kit that go, yeah, they'll say designed for.
There's loads of decals out there, you're right.
Yeah, you can apparently you can do a Greek one pre-2000 F4E with the Meng kit.
Right.
48 is the complete conversion kit for the Zucamori F4E.
Oh, right, there you go. Ooh, well done, guys. You're all on this tonight.
That's what the best thing about this forum is.
The knowledgeable people we have.
Just look up, that 48. 48
Yeah, well done,
as well.
Phil. And apparently Phil says they do all the decals as well.
All right.
I'm waiting for an F to come out. I managed to grab one, the old Hasegawa one, but I'm waiting for someone to do the F.
Yes.
The new tooling. But I wonder if they'll do... The Greek one must be on the list to do by one of these manufacturers, because it's just got the best paint schemes ever. Yeah, so there you go. Happy days.
Right, okay, so Paramjit, which we all know
Hello.
Paramjit, long time thing on the forum, Mr. Airfix as we call him. And he says, anyway, hope you're all well. On the 3rd of September marked his 5th anniversary of being with Airfix. Wow, look, it's 5 years. I remember he was this tall. He was a little lad. Wasn't he? A little lad, bless him.
I remember when he was doing his uni project and
Yeah.
God, that feels like 2 minutes ago, doesn't it?
How he ever passed his uni project with the advice we gave him is beyond us. I have no idea.
That could have turned into anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, we'd just be like that. Right, anyway, back on track. He says, I haven't missed a single live show or pre-recorded show. My God, that's it. We need a medal for him for that one. That has really helped me with the designing of the models. Being a modeler and actively part of the community really does help the design phase. Just wanted to say thank you to the team for allowing me to come on the live shows and the community for their support. Well done, everyone. You see, you're helping Airfix go along. What are you working on at the moment, Pranjit? Seems you won't tell me. He's up to something. He's up to something because he won't tell me. And I'm
Very
like,
quiet.
yeah.
Doing a tornado is not letting anyone know about it.
I am still under an NDA and I still don't know. That's what I don't want to know.
We need to get him back on a show, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, no, we need to get him here and I'll get the thumb screws out.
Yeah.
Right, he says, it's also been a bit of an up and down year for the last two at home, but looking forward to Telford and seeing you all there. It was great to see Nathan at last year's REAP and at Telford. I realised last time we saw the rest of the team in person was at Telford in 2019. Crikey. The year that the Vulcan was announced. There we go, you see. Wow. Don't forget, everyone, we are at Telford this year. We're not going as anybody. We're not stand, we're not selling, but we're going to be just visiting.
Mooching. We're going to
Mooching around. So you'll see us going around. So come and say hello, in other words. Bring coffee. I can't do that anymore because I can go and get my own.
Bring biscuits.
Bring biscuit. Well, it used to be the thing every year. Bring coffee. And bless your hearts, I had coffee supplied all day long.
Yeah.
I never went without a coffee. But this year I can now go and get my own coffee, so it's fine.
Do you think he needs to update his signature on the bottom?
I think so now, yeah, definitely. Either that, he's been working on that Airfix Type 45 frigate for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but he's 22 years old. That means he started at Airfix at 17.
Yeah, he probably did. Slave labour.
before he did his...
But no, it's lovely to have you on, Pranjit. As I said, I spoke to Dale, obviously, a couple of weeks ago when I was with you guys, and we're going to get you all on, but we'll get you in as well as a separate entity. So then obviously you can then post your questions up for Pranjit and he'll hopefully deny everything.
Well, let's just say, hold on, there's something happening in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes.
A very important happening for us.
There is actually, and I'm just thinking, Pranjit did come on with Flory Fest, didn't he? One Sunday he did a guest appearance slot.
He did.
There you go. I will be messaging you after this. For a special Airfix slot, we can fit you in on the Sunday afternoon. Right, okay, next up we've got Krista. He says, hi there, gang. Back in the saddle after my months at the school bench. Now classified bus driver and hopefully soon a job. Good job. Congratulations.
Well done.
Jumped on the wagon, wagon, I think it means bandwagon, a couple of weeks ago. So jumped on the wagon, I think he's an alcoholic. But a couple of, anyway, got a couple of airbrushes. He's got a spare one. He's got the Fenga Benga Specials. He's got the I think he means needle gun with a 0.8, which just seems massive. We did discuss this before we came on air. So, Matt, you were saying that from a commercial point of view of spraying like a boat, you're using a 1.4?
Yeah, the standard was a 0.4 for clear coats and perhaps a 1.4 for clear coats and a 1.3 for base coats and general. It was around that anyway. You could get 1.2s. And then for the little guns that used to be like the smart repair guys and all that, that was a 1. So it's like...
Yeah, so it's not a lot of difference, is it? Yeah, from a 0.8 to a 1.
That's going to be like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to chuck it out. So I don't know what quite you're going to spray with it, but let us know how you get on. I'll be interested
I'll be interested to see how that hooves through it. Does it come with a colour cut by 2 litre?
I was about to say, how big's the colour cup?
You've got a barrel on the top. Anyway, he says, any tips for taking care of the gun? Water-only based products? No, I've been putting lacquers through mine since day one. To be honest, it did all the metalwork on this week. I used my Fenga Benga Special through it. As I said, I did do a show the other day and showed about putting the needle backwards through your airbrush to clean it out. And we had a lot of the membership was saying, oh my God, it's a game changer. That's the only thing I'll say. So just take off the nozzle, right? Take the needle out and then put it in backwards so it's blunt end, and you'll be amazed the crap that comes off of it, because the nozzles are tiny. There's not enough really to even block it. They're that small. It's not like the old Harder and Steenbeck ones. It's like a bucket. But they are so small. But if you just put the needle through backwards a couple of times, you'll see loads of crud come out and junk and all the rest of it. And then just literally pop it all back together and good to go. And as I think the guys in the forum were like, oh my God, it was amazing. It's a complete game changer. But it's something as simple as that. Do not fully strip it. It's not designed to be fully stripped, and you don't need to fully strip your airbrush. Just give it a flush through and it'll be absolutely fine. If you want to, just remove the needle at night. When you're finished with it, take the needle out of the actual airbrush, keep it safe, and then the next day, or whenever you next spray, pop the needle back in, you're good to go. It will stop the needle from locking onto the O-ring as it comes back. But, that's probably about it. Right, okay, so last question. Gavin says, quick question, lads. Hope you're all doing, hunky-dory. What is the best way to ensure that aircraft tyres are straight? Doing the undercarriage and the wheels, I found I've always been a bit of a minefield. I usually have a tyre or two looking a tiny bit skew width. Any tips?
Super glue for a start instead of normal glue, because that will instantly give you a Mark 1 eyeball, basically.
I do. It's how I did this thing, because again, this thing's, you got 5 wheels under here, and it was that thing about this is resin as well, so it's really difficult, because also this nose wheel, you'll see it in the vid, the way it closes around, and I was going to pin it, but they're too far apart, so we had to push it, and trying to get it all square, facing the right way, and to be honest, all level. It was one of those things, just doing one at a time and working through them. But I was on the floor on my knees looking at it going, yeah, they're all facing this way. They're looking at me. And then literally I'm on the side going, right, are they all square? They're all flat to the floor. And, that's it. But I remember doing the B-52. That was fun. And I must admit, there is one or two of them going a bit like this.
Yeah.
You can drift around corners.
Just looking at he's done a F-15 Tommy one, and that looks cracking. Nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes I think if you get the glue, it's like half set.
Yeah.
The wheels are attached with Tamiya thing. You've still got that chance then.
You've got a little bit of movement, yeah.
Bit of movement. If you're using, I'm just looking at this Gloucester meteor now. It's like I think the whole thing's like, but I just use the eyeball and just wait for the glue to half set, and then you can fine tune it. But if it's like an airliner with like dozen wheels, it's just. Ooh.
I think you're being too hard on yourself. As I say, looking at some of your kits, you Revell F-15 as well. Send second one. That's perfect.
That's like the rabbit hole. You see the errors that no one else spots.
Yeah,
you know where the errors are, and nobody else knows. And what you're obsessed with, nobody even spots it. But yeah.
Or like Phil said earlier, take photos that no one can see them.
Angle it. I mean,
that's the thing, isn't it? You just slightly, if I had a wonky wheel here, I could just angle your camera, innit? And then you just put a pylon in the way. Look, click, perfect.
I fluffed up the wing joint. I fluffed up this Harrier, the wing joint at the back, so I dropped the flap to hide it.
Yeah.
Just to completely throw it off. You can't tell. There's a big gap now at the back because I just dropped the flaps. I don't think the Harrier's ever had the flaps dropped on the ground, but never mind.
He said hydraulic failure.
Yeah, that's it. It's got a hydraulic leak. So, I'm glad you said that. Now I know why I didn't drop the flaps on this. I can just say, oh, well, they never had that. It's a bit. I have done all my doors closed as well, because obviously they it all up. So we're going with that look.
I bet they could, but I bet the pilots would have been absolutely rollered by ground crew for leaving them down. I bet it's one of those things like before you shut down, you raise your flaps and tidy it all up. But that was
the F-18 Hornet and the Crusader, wasn't it, where it comes from for naval life, all the pilots are told to drop the flaps and everything when they power down, because they're going to go down anyway. And if you look at F-8 Crusaders on the deck of a carrier, the actual speed brakes is underneath with those, it lies on the floor, because they bleed, and as the pressure comes out, they go down. So to stop that from happening and being like whacked on the head, they put them down anyway. So over time, they don't come around and catch you or just drop on your head.
Right, just talking of Crusaders, our friends at Sword are releasing an RF-8 Crusader, 2 versions.
Oh, that's quite nice. That's a reconnaissance one, yeah.
Yeah.
48th.
No, it's 72nd. They just have second sword, don't they? Apart from a few other bits. But I thought it's quite an interesting, you know.
That'd be a good for the Cuban crisis. Because that's what they were. They were sending them over Cuba, weren't they? Fast and just doing runs, photographing.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes up when you Google it.
Yeah.
Well, they look cool, the RF ones.
The RF one, I do. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is some more questions, Phil, if you refresh.
Oh, is it? Oh, God. Crikey. Did no one lock it? Right, hold on.
I
Refresh.
tidied it up the other day, and didn't. But no one's locked
Thank
it.
God for that. Right, okay, so quick couple more. We'll just let this run over slightly. Christopher says, Hi Phil and team, quick question about the BF 109. I'm building the 48 scale EDAR G6 for a diorama where it will be on a Luftwaffe jack stands as it's being calibrated. I was wondering if anyone knows for the two little blisters. Hold on, I'll get this on the screen. We're looking at those. Two little blisters under the wings are pointed out of the locating jacks. Pictures of the 109 on the jacks suggest that they're located in this area. Pic below. Ooh, yeah, look, they're quite close together back there, aren't they? So yeah. What do you reckon? Inside of the wings? Yeah, it's probably about the same as where the roots would be.
Would you jack
I don't
point?
know.
Is it a raised bobble?
Normally, if it's a bobble, it's because there's something underneath it and it's a fairing round it, isn't it? Because it's something, you know, like a...
Yeah.
Don't know. But
A jack point.
yeah, well, I don't know. Would you need one for a jack point? Because surely that'd just go to the frame.
Well, yeah, normal jack points are just like little dimples.
Flat. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I've got a gun at the wing root, has it? Has it got lump on the top of the wing in that area? There's no gun in
No,
the
I was going to say, no, it's the 190 has a gun down there, isn't it? So, I don't know, actually. That's quite weird. I don't know what they are.
You have to,
Quick, we need somebody now who's an expert on...
German aircraft, Nathan.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, if we knew an expert on German aircraft.
Looking now, well, good. Do you know, if you Google 109 G6 jack point, you know, nothing comes up. I wonder if there's a stencil to indicate jack points on a Luftwaffe aircraft.
Maybe.
I can't think of one. Because I know
because they do look like they're in that area. When you look at those ones, it looks like they would sort of line up from where the gear legs would be, that sort of line going down the wings. But yeah, I don't know. Bit of a weird one, that.
The picture here. I don't know, because I know like RAF ones, they have like trestle markings and
yeah, you got proper things that denote it.
There's a better. It is right on the wing. It's on the fuselage, not on the wing. Because I know the wings on a 109, you can bolt them on and off.
Yeah.
The jack point is on
it's
the
hard
bottom.
to tell on the photo below how far forward
There is
the
something.
jacks are.
Yeah. I've got a manual picture, and the jack point is on the fuselage. It looks like, because the wings bolt on.
Yeah.
Because that's why you see 109s with mismatched wings, and that's on the Edard.
Yeah.
Facebook, if you look, they've put one up with mismatched wings. So the jack point is on the fuselage, not on the wing. So it might be a little bit in from where they are.
A bit inner to that, yeah.
Yeah, because that's, imagine, they jack it up. I don't know. You'd have to. You could do.
They're saying in the chat. Yeah, they are saying in chat those bulbs cover the a hole to cover the bolts which hold the wings on the fuselage.
There you go. So I'm thinking you jack it just. I bet there's a couple of pictures of other 109s on jacks, and they're just a bit in of the wing, which doesn't feel very stable in that sort of.
In the wing anyway, because you can see the seam line of the wing, can't you? On the kit.
They've got a jack point under the wings and one at the tail. And the thing, do you know what? It's got holes at the back. There's two little holes on the back of the one.
There is, isn't there?
I think there's a point that goes in at the back.
Yeah.
Actually,
in fact, you can see it. You can see it on that picture. You can see the rod coming out the hole.
Yeah.
At the back.
At the back on the tail.
Well, there you go. We've discovered a whole new rabbit hole for BF 109s. The jack points on them.
See, listen. If I was building that now, I'd be that'd be
I'll
me
be
done for.
googling that till midnight tonight. You what?
See, now this is
Anyway.
There it is.
Matt,
That's
is that the one?
That is the one at Corfu Airport. Yes. That is the one.
That's for the VIPs, isn't it? When they fly to Corfu. That looks brilliant. You should build that, Matt.
No.
Yeah, look, you could. What was the one that crashed the other week? Who didn't just take off and he fell through the trees?
It's one of them.
That was an
one of them.
AM2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it just kind of.
He just didn't get any lift and ended up hitting the trees and falling into it. Although it's not as bad as that poor crop duster one. You seen that for the baby reveal?
Wing just goes off.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, you did like that one in Mexico. Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah.
That, wasn't it? Good job it didn't happen a few seconds.
Celebrating a life and lose a life. So.
Yeah, and the couple didn't even realise, did they? They're still like, really.
No, they were hugging, embracing, and didn't
Yeah.
see it go down and blow up. So, yeah, never mind. Cool. Right. Okay then, guys. Well, look, we'll leave it right there. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Nice to see we've got loads of building done. So much for a building show. So that'll have to be next week when I'm going to be starting on this on the live shows.
Oh, exciting.
That's a nice
Exciting.
kit, that is.
Yes.
Oh.
So, yes, keeping on with the naval theme, clearly.
Do you get,
So,
the,
yes.
do you get photo etching with that kit?
I don't know. I can't remember now. I've sealed it. I've staked it up because it was all coming out and falling out. So I've taped it up at the moment. But I will be. I'll do a quick review of it and a whatnot, and we'll get it back out. So yes, good job. Right. So tomorrow show we've got the catch-up show. Obviously that will be up with you in the afternoon. We've got the next part of the Harrier. That'll be up with you as well. Let's make our way through that. I'm hopefully then going to get a load more work done on this one in the morning before Mr. Keith turns up. So yes. Big weekend this weekend coming. Nothing can go wrong. Hopefully we'll be back next week. If not, I'll probably be in a hospital somewhere.
Tell you what,
In traction like this.
Apart from Nathan and Andy, we could all be looking like Mr. Bump next week.
Yeah. It could be absolutely fine.
Staying well away from that one.
Yes. So it's all right. But
You
no,
could
it's
go
my
like
stag
the
weekend.
GoPros. You could take the GoPros with you on the night
I don't
out.
think we're going to be allowed to take our phones with us this weekend. It'll be a ban all phones, all cameras, and all everything. It's one of those weekends that's never going to happen.
What goes on top
So-
stays on top.
No evidence will be.
No evidence apart from that we've all got matching tattoos. So yes, it'll be fine. It'll be no problem at all. So anyway, then obviously on Monday we get the next part of this one up. We'll be back with you live 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. We got the PM show then, and then obviously we'll be back as well with a member show next Thursday. So yes, still lots to come, lots to do, lots to catch up on. Just for everyone who's ordered 3D bits off of me, as I say, I am printing as little fast as my little printer will go. That's why we're not accepting any new orders at the moment until I've cleared the backlog. Hopefully by the weekend, we'll be totally up to date. And then once we are, I'll get a few more stuff printed off and obviously I'll put them back up on the site. But I know we are, I've got an order of something like 18 glue holders still to go. And I can do 3 at a time, so it takes me a little bit of a while. So yes, bear with me. I am getting there. Thank you for your patience. Normal wash orders and stuff like that, they're going out just as quickly as they come in. That's no problem at all. But just 3D printed stuff, just taking a little bit longer for the glue holders and the the 3-pot one. This one. So yes, but they are coming along now. So apologies for the delay for those.
Can I just say, if anybody's still got any outstanding PayPal invoices, can you either pay them or let us know if and when you're going to pay them, please? We've still got a few outstanding ones, especially dinosaurs.
Yes, so we've got a few people outstanding on the old T-Rex as well. So if you have had your invoice, if you can't pay it for whatever reason, let us know, because obviously we put it on the site and we can sell it. So, but yes, good job. Right, okay then guys, we will leave it there. Happy modelling, take care. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Say goodbye.